Hold on, I gotta log into my Twitch. All right, there we go. Twas watching this series earlier. This was a great series. Shout out Chronic. Defensive masterclass at times. But I am going to do something real quick before I finish that off. I'm going to kind of look into a new chair because I am done with this chair. What happens if I buy this? Because this says, yeah, $30. So it'll be one. I just realized you guys can't hear this.
In that match.
It really did, and you know, we mentioned the face cams earlier. You know, we could really see on Wavy's expression that he just wasn't enjoying his performance. He wasn't happy, compared to Chronic, where although we're getting all of those big time reactions, I think the kids call it crashing out these days. He's getting right back to it, and he's putting up a great plays the next game. That I'm sure he could be proud of, and he's smiling because ultimately you have to enjoy the experience. If you're going to beat a guy like First Killer, if you're going to beat a guy like Diaz, these seasoned 1v1 vets, you need to just stay positive. And it sounds cliche, but it's so important. You're going to get bumped, you're going to get demoed, you're going to get scored on, you're going to be made to look silly at times. Kickoff goals are going to go against you, but you just got to go next play, reset. And yeah, that's something to look out for in this next match for sure.
Two more matches on the day. First Killer, the greatest of all time in North America. He's been called many times this weekend. Evo will be the next player taking a shot at the King. Can he make it through to the grand finals to take on Diaz, or will it be FK versus Diaz, as we foretold at the beginning here? First Killer back in the zone, back in the hot seat, and trying to continue on the momentum from earlier today.
Yeah, First Killer, he was absolutely cruising there in his matchup. We were seeing what we expect from him, the speed, just heavy touches, staying on the ball. We saw him mix it up a little bit there, and then decided to go back to what was working, which Evo is going to like to play defense. This is the matchup that we watched earlier. This is the matchup that I specifically watched in the group stage, Evo and First Killer, and it was truly unlike any match I have ever seen. Evo took it to the absolute extreme in terms of his willingness to stay on defense. For example, we just watched Diaz versus Chronic. Chronic was forced to play defense. He didn't really have a choice. It felt like he had to play from there with how good Diaz was getting control and starting air dribbles. Evo almost picked to play out of defense. He would let First Killer have the ball and continue to play in the net, and he ended up getting the win. He got a 3-2 win, so he managed to do that against First Killer in the group stage. The question is, who is going to be able to do it here in the big time?
It's interesting looking back on the match they played just a few days ago, because this is a rematch, as you pointed out, a match that just happened. Evo did take that one in 5 games. Evo's wins were 1-2 goal games. First Killer's wins were 3-5 goal margins there. So when he was winning, FK was running away with it. But when Evo was winning, it was, again, that defensive series you're talking about there. He was holding it down, getting just enough to get the job done, and then making sure that FK didn't score. Did he learn enough? Is he going to be able to adjust and find a new tool in his bag to take down this new defensive Evo here? Let us know in chat what you think. Hashtag FK for First Killer, hashtag EVOH for Evo there. And Johnny, Do you think he's got it? Do you think he's going to have a new tool in the bag? I'm actually really excited about the
I have
predictions
my
here. I
mic
don't know what you guys
muted.
are going to
I actually just realized
FK
I
looked
hadn't
really
put my
good.
prediction in the
I
sheet, so
watched the
sorry,
end of
production.
the
I am,
FK
but
Wavy
I'm going to
series.
say now that I
FK
think it's first killer. I think, you
I
know,
want
beating
Wavy- I
Wavy
want Evo
in
to
a
win,
convincing
sorry.
fashion, it's
But I
enough
think
for me to
FK
think that he's going
realistically
to
has a
swing
better
this
chance
really,
of
really close
winning
series in his
against
favor.
either-
Evo and first killer have been super close recently, and I do love watching Evo's new style. The more composed, the more
Diaz or
calculated
Moxie.
version of Evo compared to the guy who just blitzing it around the pitch that we used to see in the past.
All right. Fear?
I love this matchup. I love seeing Evo play in this big time moment because I've been watching him since the very beginning. He has played the most on my channel than anybody else. If there's anybody who's watched the Evo games, it's me. And what he has gotten to, the level that he's gotten to, has been quite impressive. But when I talked about earlier who I think is maybe going to be showtime, I think First Killer has gotten to these grand finals, played these big moments a little bit more. Evo hasn't had as much experience here. I think it's going to be close. I mean, this is the toughest one. You know,
Man.
early on, I had my predictions all the way till the end. This was the one I was like, I'm going to have to see what happens today. And based on what I saw from First Killer playing against Wavy, I'm also going to go First Killer.
This is the beauty of why we have to play it too, because we've seen FK, but we haven't seen Evo today. We don't know what form Evo's in right now. This is going to be his first match, and the question of, do you want to have to play the marathon? Do you want to have to play? Do you want to come in just like fresh, just play your one match? You know, is him being cool, him having a cool down engine, is that going to be more valuable than having the warmed up momentum that FK's got here? Only one way for us to find out. I also I hate that we're all just kind of saying the same story here, but I think it's true. I think FK, he's been in this spot so many times. It's gonna be a difference maker. I mean, but surely, like, is there a mistake he can make that would change this up? Because it's not just about is it really just a mental game here, Johnny?
For me, I think it's a little bit of first killer against first killer. If he can avoid overextending, I think he takes this. His shots look good, so yeah, I think that's where we're all backing him.
Okay, well, we'll see if he can get it done here. Evo, he took the win last time this match happened. Does the defense hold up in this environment again for a second round, folks? There's one spot left in the grand finals of the first ever North American 1v1 Regional Open, folks. Who will face off against Diaz? Will it be First Killer or will it be Evo? Let's find out.
We began the day with 6. We are now down to 3. Diaz awaits the winner of what Fear has called the big time. Evo on the one side, First Killer on the other side. A rematch of the group stage. Let's get into it.
This is actually going to be one for the books. This could have been a potential grand final bait. I'm so stoked for this. This is where we find out if First Killer truly is the absolute GOAT of NA.
We sure are going to find that out right here and right now. Evo, we haven't seen him yet today, but already he's coming out swinging. 12 seconds in. He dispossesses FK off the ball, collects it, and a nice easy goal for Evo.
Definitely what you're going to need to, right? I think kickoff goals are going to be Evo's best opportunities against First Killer, especially because once this ball starts to go into play, it's going to become a whole other ball game. But FK off the rip catches Evo off guard.
He sure does. And listen, if you're just now tuning in, you're like, wow, I didn't see what Evo has been bringing to the table in this 1v1 setting. Well, let me set the table for you. Evo, he's got a flawless mechanical gameplay. He's smooth on the ground. You're going to be in awe watching him go left to right, up and down. And then, on top of that, his defense has been on one the whole entire tournament, really frustrating players. They talked about it on the desk. The games that Evo was winning, they were defensive games. FK, he's going to try to go with speed, power, constantly harassing, being in your face, making you awkward, and it's up to Evo to see how he can contend against FK's ferocity and just pure tenacity on the offensive end.
And one of the things too, like you talked about, First Killer is going to be in your face for the mass majority of this series. So Evo, his biggest challenge is going to be trying to create space for himself to take shots. Just because First Killer is so dominant and possessive, but if you take him off the field, the net is yours.
And that is, the net will exactly be his. Evo got a little wobble right here. We're going to have to watch the replay. Oh. Sometimes, listen, y'all, even the best in the game can sometimes make a mistake. FK, it's been called out twice, once by dispossession and steal, as I'll call it, and another time off a demo. And we just saw FK not too long ago, about 2 matches ago, where he really kept the game tight against Wavy. And Wavy was not really expecting FK to play so close at all times. And honestly, FK's aerial game, as it goes right here, wasn't that successful. But already 1 for 1, FK is against Evo.
No, this is such a great play, too. He had a lot of space on it. Evo did have the boost to be able to go up, but just the fake on the touch to let it float in. These are the mind games, literally just the beginning of the mind games that First Killer is going to be putting out towards Evo.
That's right, and Evo, he's not going to want to have too many of those delayed kickoff though from Evo. Gets a wave dash after it as well. FK comes straight through. Speed flip kickoff. Kind of backflip though, honestly. I think that might have been a mechanical error from FK on the kickoff, and Evo's going to take advantage of that. FK needs to flip through the ball. He ends up losing that amount of inertia, amount of power he needs to put in the ball off the kickoff, and it automatically goes in Evo's favor every single time. FK's not going to want to see that one again.
Definitely not here. Shot opportunity for Evo. If he can make the cut, he does. I think almost. He pitches it off the post, keeps it out, but that's not going to stop Evo. He takes his time here. Got a full tank to work with. The world is his, and unfortunately, he chose the top post.
And he unfortunately does miss out on that, but Evo kind of playing with his food right here. Young man up in the sky, checked down to see where FK was. Doesn't like his initial first touch. He wants to play this corner boost. Can he get it? No, he doesn't. He's going to have to retreat now. First Killer has definitely spied that out, and now he knows Evo's grabbed the mid boost. FK, mouse the flank, top left corner. Evo, you put a hand up, but it simply wasn't strong enough.
Definitely was not going to be strong enough. That is a laser. We've been waiting all day to see this flick, by the way. It's been attempted so many times, and you would think, yes, in a world that it is considered basic in the one's realm, but no. To First Killer, it is just another arsenal in his pack. Off the kickoff, though. Pretty standard. Goes on back, orange side. Evo takes his shot. Even the demo's not going to stop that from going in.
First Killer hit with his own medicine right there. Gets the boost grab stone, but he left the ball boost over ball in a 1v1 scene at this level. When there's only 3 of you left vying to become an NA 1v1 champion, it's simply not going to cut it. FK probably scored at least about 4 or 5 times like that against Wavy in the last season. You think he'd be knowledgeable. You think he'd know not to do it. But even the best still end up having that little mishap occur. But it doesn't matter though, because once again, First Killer, just like in the series against Wavy, continues to score kickoff goals.
Those kickoff goals are going to be pretty detrimental to Evo if he doesn't get a grip on them. But for the most part, he's done fairly well, taking his time, has his flip to use, but opts to go straight to the ground and float it almost in. He just keeps going a bit too high to that crossbar. And again, possession loss goes straight to FK. Is going to let Evo have the time with this ball on this one. Half that game tied all the way around, and I think he might...
No, he saved it.
Oh, he's saving that. Never mind. I was like, maybe there's a world where you catch out. Okay, I'm sorry. I forget that he's like low-key just faster than everybody else.
He kind of does look faster than everybody else, but the defense not looking that great right here. He had a moment in the series against Wavy where he kind of looked like Rawas for a second, jumped really high, but Evo sets up the air triple bump play quite well. Doesn't give FK that much space to operate. FK maybe should have faked. Tried to drop back down just to give Evo something to think about, food for thought perhaps. But ultimately, Evo scores the goal, and right there, FK's gonna have to make that adjustment. Ball in his favor though right now, brings it up high. He's already been 1 for 1 in the aerial attempts, goes to try to make it 2 for 2, doesn't. Evo there to meet him.
It was a good challenge from Evo too. And
counterattack too.
This is the second time we've seen this, although this time it is gonna work. He will be just a tiny bit faster to match pace with FK, and Evo gets his 2-goal lead. I don't know how many people expected that off in this game number 1. I mean, even FK, you can see it on the face cam, a little like, all right, what's going on? Like, it's not like set up and lock in mode, but it definitely is like, should be a lot closer.
Oh my gosh, Evo, that's like the 4th kickoff goal in a row, young man. You gotta pay attention. Boost over ball again. This is unacceptable at this level. Evo, play ball! You're wave dasher for the boost. FK's gonna sit there and score that every single time. Evo, you're playing a good game. But more and more kickoff goals go in favor of FK, the greater chance he has at winning the game.
And that's what we were talking about at the beginning of this particular game. Kickoff goals between these two especially are going to change everything. It'll make it an extremely high-scoring game too.
It's speed.
This one out, past mid, another touch. FK's just kind of shadowing it. Takes it for his own, pop up into the air. Evo doesn't quite have enough. He's just going to have to time it right, and he won't, and it's a tied game overall.
Oh, he won't be happy with himself. I know he's kicking himself. I'm looking at the camera right now. The defense was not up to snuff in this moment. Flips the wrong way. I think he's expecting maybe an air dribble bump, but FK didn't really have the space, nor did he even honestly set it up in that direction. The ball's gonna end up coming to Evo. He's in the correct position. He just has an unfortunate error right there. 6-6. Both players still feeling each other out, evenly matched. Evo takes a shot, 0 boost to his name. Can FK right back around to the speed man coming away? FK, quick crossover, step back, hey, layup basically. First killer showing you it's all about speed and a 1v1 for him, man. Wave pass off the wall, pop back, crossover to the right, hit your back to the left. 1-2 in your net, nothing you can do.
That's just, I mean, when you hear the phrase first killer doing first killer things, that is the perfect example of it. To him, that is just so unbelievably natural. Now Evo's gonna have to get back into this one. Just over a minute left to go here in this game number 1. Another shot on target. Speed sends this one out to the side, but first killer fast enough to keep it in Evo's half. For now, Evo tries to take a shot. Power enough to send it back with Bates. Less than a minute to go. And another one on net. I don't know if Evo's coming back from this.
Listen, the kickoff hasn't been in his favor, so he's got to have some work to do. But also, he keeps trying to play a speed game against first killer, and I don't necessarily know if that's in the best interest of the young man right there. FK, he's comfortable. He might be the best in the game, no matter the region, and just booming the ball with power, with speed. And that has always been the case since he entered the ROM scene way back in about 2019, 2020. Evo trying to make something happen right here, though. Bumps out FK. FK's going to stay close, though. Of course he is. Evo's not expecting it. FK just going to keep running around with this ball. And Evo, 30 seconds left. He's got a lot of work to do. Big cut, and does just that.
First killer, he recognizes the cuts, but he's also doing it himself, too, and keeping him pretty much boxed into his own half. If he can get around the arc right there, no, he'll let it off. Granted, you are up by 2, so you don't got to challenge too hard, risk anything here. Evo just trying to get out. 9 seconds on the clock. First killer trying to get some recovery off the ceiling. Pinch down to the ground. Might have wasted just enough time. It does. That game number 1 is going to first killer.
GG's in the chat from both players. First killer continue his momentum he's had throughout the whole entire lower bracket. It's all started when he ultimately ended up losing 3-2 against Evo in the group stage of this tournament on Friday. Both of these players really showing what they have to offer. Evo, I expect to see a little more though in game number 2. Not too much offensive firepower coming from this time around. A couple counterattack goals, a couple of just quick wave dash pop shots from distance. And not too much threatening first killer's net in particular. And then also the kickoff. First killer at least had about 3 goals off the kickoff, maybe even 4. You want him to be a little more clinical, him as an Evo. Be a little more clinical in the kickoff. Maybe mix something up to throw FK off and ultimately end up winning possession.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think those kickoffs were detrimental to a mass majority of this part because Evo, for the most part, kept up fairly well. I do want to say, though, his quality in comparison to FK, definitely under where he was at, right? FK, every shot, it felt very, very intentional. Evo, it felt like you were pressed for time when you finally were able to get into FK's half and have a shot or two, right? So now it's the same thing we were saying before. Evo needs to create space for himself, give himself some time, and I mean, what better place to do it than Forbidden Temple?
A better place to do it. You're right about that. Game number 1, everybody should be calm down. Locked in. What kind of kickoff was that? You don't know. Fear and John even know. Evo like jumped so early and just got belly flopped the ball from distance. That was kind of impressive. Brings it back down the flavor of the month. Backdoors wave dash. Tries for the 50-50. FK's there to meet him. That's what we want to see if you're an Evo fan. Some creativity on the offensive end. First killer ends up making a mistake. Can Evo capitalize? He can't. The power simply isn't there. FK gets away with 1.
That's so unfortunate, too, because it really was a good second attempt, but now you got to get back in time. FK must be denied. Power off back. He's just going to send it to his own corner and get that boost spawn. Really just try again from his half to the other. Taking his time with it. Here comes the Evo challenge. This one's sent upfield. Takes his time with it. Leaves it almost on the ground there, but FK again. Another good read.
A little fortune for FK right there. Kind of had a little bit of a, I would call a late flip. A little bit caught off guard, but it ends up working out for him. Evo didn't take the shot. Didn't realize that was going to come. And you can't blame Evo right there. You can't really expect first killer to make too many mistakes. There's a rough high for FK. Blocked out by Evo. Great defense. Evo should be able to turn this around to a goal, and he will turn this around to a goal. 1-0 to Evo. Great defense.
Really, really good defense too, and also just beautiful recovery. The way that he was just able to get his car flat back on the ground, take that shot within like a half a second's time. That's the level of speed at which he's going to be needing to think against First Killer in this game number 2.
Herc, I'm gonna be, listen, I know you like looking at the camera, so when Evo's camera pops up, I need you to tell me if whenever this happens throughout the series, if he ever changes his expression. 'Cause right now he's sat with his head slightly tilted every single time, and I can't read him. So if he ever smiles or ever just shows any form of emotion, chat, y'all make sure to mark it down. And Herc, if you can catch it, let me know.
The most I've seen out of him is like a lip quiver, if I'm honest. Up off the post.
Listen, I'll be expecting that call if it happens. First Killer,
Chief.
down by 1. FK trying to do a little cross. Oh my gosh, and this man Allen Iverson, come on, when he has the rock, he's just going by whoever's in his way. Look at this man go. Mama, can I have this dance? Right to left, back to the left again. Bang! In your net, Evo. You're lost in the sauce.
Okay, Evo's camera is either frozen or really truly has zero emotion right now. I don't know how you get your ankles broken and still don't even produce like an eye roll at that point. But he's gonna try it. Maybe you can do something to FK and make his eyes roll. Another shot on target. First Killer. Save out to the corner here. Just taking his time. No boost. Still enough power to flick this one up. But I don't know, man. Tied game at nearing the halfway point here. This is the lowest scoring we've seen between them, I think, all weekend.
Oh, beautiful fake. Lovely stuff from First Killer. Recognize that Evo is in a tough position right here. Honestly, probably knew he had low boost, if not zero boost, and just backflips out of it. And I think Evo's car language when he jumped so early to block that gave First Killer the knowledge that Evo's in a bad spot. He's playing my shot way too early.
Yes.
If I back off of this, he can't get to it. And First Killer recognizes it with just pure precision to win him.
That 237 mark here. Of course, you guys know the rules. You can FF after that halfway point, although this is way too close to even think about that. Evo, enough power to take a shot on target, but the easiest save out to the side here for FK to follow. The First Killer, not even forcing anything, even on low boost.
Low boost right here. Evo has a lot of space to his name. Both of these players kind of giving each other a lot of respect, and neither player necessarily really trying to take over too much offensively. Just waiting to see when the openings happen, when the little tiny, minute mistakes occur, and trying to take advantage of each other that way. Neither player playing too offensively. Evo still sticking to his defensive style. Fake challenge on First Killer, baits out the flick. He should be able to attain possession right here if he plays this right. First Killer grabs the mid-100 boost. Evo, First Killer backs up. Evo takes his time, soft flick. All there just to maintain the boost. He stays with it, but he gets cut up by First Killer again. And FK with the easiest goal so far of the series.
Oh my God, that's what you were talking about too, though. Those small little mistakes that you can catch. The second Evo was just a bit off the wall, FK was like, all right, this is mine. All the way down to the end. 2-goal lead here for First Killer. 93 seconds left on the clock. Feels like an immense amount of time to just continue to build on your lead. A little bit of a failed musty, but it doesn't matter. It's still in his net.
Listen, this is Freestyle Fridays. That deserves a 0. But
I was like, listen, I'll call the failed musty. I don't know about scoring it. They might start flaming.
Listen, but since it's in a 1v1, all that matters is that it is a bucket. And Evo has a lot of respect to FK right there. And honestly, if First Killer got a good contact on that, there's not much Evo could do. So fair play to him. Evo finally gets a kickoff go to his name. Standard kickoff from both players right there. And this Evo just ultimately ends up winning that one outright. He needed that right there too. The momentum was starting this way too much in First Killer's favor.
Yeah, these kickoff goals are really where Evo's going to be able to kind of get back into these weird lows throughout the series. Though this one almost found its way in. Great little save there. Off the post, keeps it out. First Killer just all the way back. And just a reset from his end to the other. Let's see what he does with this. Into the ceiling. Takes his time. Has his flip. Uses it on target now.
Great block by Evo. He's really just meeting FK almost every single time up in the sky. He needs to get his goal right here. Goes airdrop bump and he connects. Great play from Evo. Set it up the whole entire way through. Defense and the offense He's absolutely balling out. Comes around. He can go for the reset. Says, I don't mind. Sees and spots FK on the back wall, and that's a bad spot for FK. Any player in that moment, they see you on the back wall, they're gonna try to hit you every single time. Exactly what Evo does. 3-4 now, 48 seconds left. Evo trying to make a comeback in game number 2.
He's got no boost on this one. FK was the one that got the mid, so he is going to have to retreat here. And it's a little awkward. Timed well, though, but here comes the cut. You're going to have to make the second save. He does. But the third one is not going his way. I was like, man, we are getting to that corner boost really slow there, Evo.
Yeah, 50-50. FK, great play by him, honestly. He didn't commit to the shot. He just played the 50-50, and Evo's coming in with speed. As long as FK just puts a body on it, puts something up that makes the ball have to stop right there. The 50-50 is not going to be threatening. It might not lead to a shot like it did, but it's still going to put FK in a good position. And FK commits to the shot right there. The 50-50 could go in the opposite direction, and that's not what he wanted. Ends up going in his favor. Evo has a lot of work to do. Reset right by FK with 0 boost to his name. 4-5.
I mean, now you got the time to get back into this, although it is one of the more dangerous moments. But just beautiful timing overall from Evo. But timing off kickoffs has not quite been his favor, although the last 2 times it has. We're going to see third times is the charm to try and tie things up.
Kickoff right here. What's Evo go for? Standard kickoff. Should be a shot. Air roll coming. Puts it on net. FK's there to meet it. Evo should have an opportunity. He should know that FK's low on boost. Takes a shot. As weak as ever. You expect it to be a little more powerful. He's going to close the distance. First killer, of course he is. Oh, Evo in a tough spot. Should be able to collect the boost and ball. Oh, he doesn't win it. 24 boosts. 0 seconds left. Evo fakes up high. Somebody shoot, please. And first killer ends up snuffing it out. Does what he does. GG's in the chat. FK up 2-0.
I mean, I do gotta hand it to Evo. This was a better sign of progress. I see the tiniest of smirks, but that could just be like the natural line of his smile. So yeah, same expression all the way through for him. I mean, at that point though, you can't really be shocked. It is first killer at the end of the day who you are going up against. You can see it in the replays. It's the genuine first killer doing first killer things. Even he sometimes is shocked at some of the things he was pulling out throughout the series just because Evo was gaining a little bit of momentum, but ultimately there was no taking that lead back from FK.
Yeah, first killer was on, and honestly, surprisingly, Evo had the more shots, 16 shots to 11 in that game. First killer had to make 11 saves. It's just really the quality of the opportunities. First killer making Evo work. A lot of left to right, horizontal direction and movement. First killer's bringing against Evo, making him have to constantly change the course of his car from going left in a shadowing the left position, shadowing the right position. In basketball, they would say making somebody shift their hips, or in soccer, I believe they might even call that as well. So it's good play from first killer. Evo, he did end up bringing that game back. He had definitely showed more offensive prowess and ability and capability that we know that he has. But for him to end up being first killer, he's gonna have to step it up, and he's gonna have to start on DFH.
Evo, you usually don't want to be the one to say the whole back's against the wall, but if he does not take this game number 3, first killer, not only, you know, physically on the scoreboard, but mentally is going to have it up on Evo. But Evo's not going to let that start this time. Different start to game number 3.
Yep, first killer got a little too overeager. Thought Evo was going to try to commit to that ball. Maybe thought he was going to just squeeze the ball against the wall, against Evo, keep it pinned, and then that would have allowed him to go grab that back right boost right there. But that's not what Evo ventured out for. He didn't go for the ball at all. And once again, kind of along the same plate. First killer looking for a pinch. It doesn't connect. Evo says, I'll take the 2 freebies.
I was going to say, you got to take advantage of every single opportunity you finally can find against FK. You just got to keep building on it while you can, too, because at some point, first killer is going to start getting a little bit closer to you and a lot more menacing and annoying.
Big smile coming out of Evo right there. First killer shakes his head. Gotta love the cameras. Gotta love for these players, the emotion that they bring to 1v1 setting. First killer flick. Evo there to meet him. Evo's defense has been pretty sensational so far. He has to contend again. A great flip. Then you gotta reset off of that. Whoa! FK bounces off the ground quick, fast, in a hurry. He ends up scoring.
There's a whole combination of things here. The first flip, and then you thought maybe it was dead ball down, but no, it's just another opportunity to bounce up and shoot in. First killer, if he was going to get first one to come on back, of course, it was going to be in style. And off kickoff. We're going to see what he gets. A little bit more standard. I feel like this is what we've been getting fairly often from the 2 of these guys.
Fairly often indeed. FK trips up Evo right there. Now he knows he's in a good position. Reset coming, brings it back down to flavor of the year. Not there though. Lacking the power and lacking in precision. FK brings it all the way back in this corner. He wants to reset, misses the boost. Evo spots him. He knows that FK's got the backup, and he sure does. Evo boosts his name and a whole entire pitch to work with. Brings it up high. FK on the side, coming up the ceiling. Evo spots him, goes right by him. 3 goals to Evo's name, and he's on fire right now.
Honestly, that's just a beautiful touch too off the ceiling because first killer was already up there to meet him. He had to make it just ahead of him, and he does. That 2-goal lead is going to mean a lot, though. Usually it does not last very long.
See what happens on the kickoff right here. First killer goes for a wave dash kickoff. Doesn't get the mid boost, though. Evo collects his back corner. First killer fakes it out. Evo gave up too much of the net. Didn't even allow first killer to show his hand. Honestly, Evo committed to that so hard. Give the whole entire backside of the goal. Really expected first killer to slam it in. Great play by FK.
You just saw the slam on the brakes too from Evo, and you just knew that was going in. Off kickoff, out and over to the side. Evo's gonna try and follow it. No chip shot, just goes to take first killer's boost. Then he just recognizes he can outplay him on it too in the race. Back to this net, and he will win it. That 2-goal lead taken back once again.
Evo playing real well against FK's close quarter combat, as I like to call it. He ends up getting a backflip right by him. Had a couple goals so far this game, where FK's played real tight, especially off the kickoff. Evo's come out victorious, making the necessary adjustments in order to try to give himself the best chance in the series. A lot of space for first kill to work with right here. Evo closes the gap a little bit. FK pop shot. Evo has to respect it. Barely gets up in time. First killer's got another opportunity right here. And if you're Evo, you're in a bad spot. FK low 50, fakes out the flick. It's just pure 1v1 Rocket League from the NA GOAT.
It really just is a beautiful mind game right there. Evo, not only did he have to do the circle, but he had to figure out if FK was going up or down, and first killer just in a beautiful position to be able to 50 that one down on the ground. Now only 1-goal deficit, just over 3 minutes to go. Another shootout, as opposed to a lower scoring game like we got in game number 2.
Great bump by Evo. He should be able to capitalize right here, and he will. I want to talk about the kickoffs. First killer, he was winning them outright early on. But already a couple of mishaps in this game 3 to a failed pinch, committing on the first goal of the game. That was just a little too aggressive. I bumped out right there. And Evo taking advantage of every single mistake that first killer gives him. And you give me some crumbs, I'm going to have to eat them. First killer trying to get right by Evo, and he sure does. Evo out of position. Goal to his name. First killer stays relevant in the game.
I feel like Evo's just like almost losing to his own mind on this one. Yes, he was a little awkward and he had to, you know, half flip backwards for it. But even then, you might have, it almost would have been better to just drive back into the net and prepare for the next one that was going to come your way. But first killer, not going to give any grace or forgiveness. Now,
good bump, great bump.
Just a race for this ball here, one end to the other. A lot of power on this shot. First killer getting back to what he does. He just alluded to him. Big power shot from him. Backflip flick. I think that's what he wanted, but it didn't end up connecting. He's going to bring it back into the corner. He knows Evo's got to have 100 boost, and he knows he's got to worry about it. Evo, is this already a back corner very early? Nah. He just wanted to bring it all the way back. I don't know if we're trying to waste time early. Too early. As we approach the half another game. Point,
I was going to say,
try anything.
I was going to say, Evo, what are you doing? Big boom right there for first killer. Right over his head. Evo, you got caught napping. You ended up bringing it all the way to the back. You ended up running out of boost. That first killer caught you flipping. You didn't flip back goal side. You flipped away.
He played
that sniper rifle, man. When that sniper sees the goal, he's going to end up taking aim. He's going to fire away. First killer ties up the game. 5-5. Kickoff goes his way. Bump coming. Evo, he's got to scramble. FK, rule one opportunity. Who broke it? We don't know. Evo said, don't mind if I do. Can he capitalize? He sure can.
If I'm being so honest, there's no way it was one, not Evo, who broke it. I fully believe he was the one that broke it, and FK was like, man, I thought we were going to respect it and have a little fun here. He said, absolutely not. I need my one time to shine and get back into the lead. He takes it. 2:02 to go. Evo trying everything he can to get back into this game, but there's been so many of these weird little mistakes that come, honestly, from his creation.
His creation indeed, but he's got FK in a bad spot right here. crosses them up, has boost. FK go, oh, I thought FK was gonna jump for it, but he didn't. Great shot by Evo. Puts it right off the left post and in. And this all began because Evo had speed, won the race to the corner boost. And after the FK, just had to rely on his instincts, didn't expect Evo to take the shot. 7-5 Evo.
Gotta hold on to that 2-goal lead. So many times we've seen First Killer come back very, very quickly. Floater out into FK's half. He just takes it back for his own. And another dribble attempt. I assume a pop and a flick, and it's in.
I mean, it's just a lovely Rocket League. Earlier in the game, if y'all recall, First Killer had a dribble just like this. And he faked the reverse and went for a low 50. This time he sets it up. Evo respects DK, he doesn't want to get 50-50 again. And the FK this time says, I'm gonna flick it into the top right corner. Nothing you can do. Great adjustments from First Killer. Way to set up each and every attack. But he's still down by 1, and Evo does have possession.
And you definitely got to keep attempting this time. Although First Killer has got 11 shots to his name right now. Evo's just going to make it that much harder to try and come back in this game 3.
Listen, a great demo by Evo, and every single goal Evo has, it seems like it's so much more simple, simplistic, easier to obtain, catching FK off guard, bumping them, demoing them, breaking the rule 1 after FK slaps him around a couple times. First Killer, all of his goals, they seem like he has to do a lot of work and put in a lot of effort. And that might work for some games, but the easier the goals for Evo throughout the series, the better chances the young man has. And then, of course, we want to talk about him not working. Off the kickoff, right underneath the crossbar, perfect reset, into power, into accuracy, into a goal.
I think you heard you call him simple way too many times in that sentence and said, whoa, let me show you what I can do. A perfect way to extend that lead here and give himself at least a confidence booster in this series. He's been so down for so long, despite how fairly close the majority of the series is. Gonna try and do it again here. First Killer throws a hand up, keeps it out. Evo's not gonna go for the immediate second shot. Instead, they 50 out for this ball in mid. Ping pong around, see who's the first touch.
FK, unfortunate hit for him. He definitely doesn't want to see that happen. Evo slows it down, still being aggressive, even up by 3 or 40 seconds left. Might come back to his detriment, because FK has dispossessed him with ease. Now it's 9-7. I'm a little surprised that Evo's committed to that. He must have forgot that he's playing for an NA 1v1 championship appearance. Yeah, and for all that money, because I'll tell you what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be moving. You'd have to come to me. Let's see what the necessary adjustments Evo makes right here. What's the kickoff? And so far, the ball's back in his possession. Let's see what happens. He's going to bring it back to his corner. Oh, he's running real slow. He's still trying to score the ball for some reason.
Yeah, I think that most people, when you are up by like 2 on First Killer with 20 seconds to go, would play like the craziest defense of their lives. But to be fair, Evo hasn't had the best track record defensively against First Killer right now. So I think taking these shots and wasting time might be his best bet to securing this game number 3. First Killer, I think, recognizes there is no time left. But that'll do it. Game number 3, Evo is officially back in the series.
He sure is back in the series, and he didn't even use his timeout. Trusted in his instincts, trusted in his preparation, and he's feeling good right now. 12 shots to 11 in favor of FK right there. But Evo ends up getting the W this time around. Couple mistakes from FK, though, especially on the beginning of the game. A little bit too much aggression off the kickoff. Went for a couple pinches. Went for some very opportunistic, I would say, 50-50s. And they didn't necessarily come out in his favor this time around. And Evo took advantage of every single one of those and then put him away with the air dribble reset goal that went right underneath the crossbar to extend his lead 2-3 and gave him enough of a cushion within the last minute to ultimately end up getting this game 3 victory. Now, as we move forward to Utopia, it's going to be interesting to see what both players' adjustments.
Oh, wait, frick.
You really want to see that if you're an FK fan.
There it is.
I also do feel like if you are First Killer, right, you recognize that you have a slight upper hand throughout all this. You've been playing, you know, having one of the better performances out of everybody throughout this weekend, all, you know, Diaz aside. So if you're First Killer, you're kind of treating this like a marathon, not necessarily a sprint. Whereas Evo, on the other hand, is like, you are playing catch up right now, right? And you're trying to get back into this one. Game number 4, Evo gonna have to adjust to some of the defensive mistakes that he was throwing out there against First Killer in that last game. First Killer, on the other hand, like you said, we're all waiting to see when he wakes up.
FK. Knows Evo slow. I just had to let down play out. You can see it come from a mile away. Evo never had opportunity to gain any boost, and First Killer knew it the whole time. Evo has to respect First, throwing it up high. First knows this, just rolls the ball right into your net. Nice and calm, nice and simple. First Killer strikes first in game number 4.
I mean, there it is. Like, you want mind games. You want, it doesn't even have to be like the flashiest play, right? It's just got to be a mind game. It's this one. Taken by Evo. Gonna have first shot opportunity here. Let's First Killer get a touch on it. Maybe place it over it, but no. First Killer just taking his time. Shadow defense.
Shadow defense indeed. First Killer bangs it all the way to the corner just to collect the boost. That's an old play he's been doing for years on end. Evo with possession. Not that much boost to his name, though. Low 50. Ends up grabbing the top right boost for him. First Killer knows that he's got to respect it. Early shot for FK. Pop up high. Should give him the time to make a play. Evo still lurking. Wants to see if First Killer make it, but misses the boost. And now his opportunity might not be as effective as he wants it to be. First Killer beats him, and he's going to steal the corner. Evo's going to have to get out of here, and he does.
Definitely able to at least get out to the mid, but this is usually where things start to falter for him. The power flick on target. Most times when we see Evo trying to race back and get into position for defense, he's a little awkward on it. You saw the hesitation, and First Killer recognized it, and all you need is one laser beam on net, and you are past Evo.
First 45-degree angle flick from FK right there. Perfect execution. Evo even jumped up high, but he wasn't high enough.
Oh my god.
First Killer feeling it in game number 4. My apologies. The flicks are starting to come into fruition for him, and he gets a big demo. Should be another goal on the way. Evo spawns in, but he's not going to be spawning in quick enough. 3 goals to FK on Utopia.
That's just a really good shot overall. Pretty basic for FK standards, but at the end of the day, it works, and it keeps the game in your favor. First Killer, little pop-up. Okay, Evo keeps this one out. Can he keep the second one? No, there's no boost in the tank. Just a bit too high
FK
to meet that ball.
nothing.
It's not enough. Too many shots to my net. It's just simply not enough.
I mean, FK.
First Killer.
When I was watching
Evo's
against
got a
Wavy,
lot of work to do off this kickoff. He did
different.
well the first time around, but can you stop the second? And you can't. You can't. First Killer ends up handling business right there. Evo, strong 50s on the kickoff. Might be able to flip through. Sure does. Creative way to get to the ball as well. Sideways flip early. Pre-flip to end up getting a touch right over First Killer's head. Exactly what you need from the young man right there. Big goal just to stimmy First Killer's tie.
You just have to have full send commitment, especially against First Killer. That's the way for Evo to really keep up and stay in this one. Off kickoff could have been his. Little bit of hesitation on this one. Just had to go for the 50 and keep it in that half there. He will get the boost and try and take his time with it, but First Killer, even on low boost, his 50 back, forces Evo to have to retreat.
Evo gets the ball back though. Big flick from the young man. Beautiful plays. Just hits First Killer so quickly. Captures the ball, controls it. Ends up reversing himself. First Killer never has the time to react. An instant flick from Evo. Right over the top of his head. 2 goals in quick succession for him. He's right back in it.
You just got to keep trying because this kickoff could be an opportunity, and it is. I was expecting to see this. I'm glad we got
There's
it.
still 3
Evo
minutes left.
just trying to snowball the momentum into his favor.
Standard kickoff from both players right there. Evo, ball works out to the right-hand side, right in front of him. He is taking that every single time, and all of a sudden, that 4-goal cushion that First Killer had, it has disappeared. He does end up winning this race to the mid boost, though, which means he will have an opportunity to score. Evo closes the distance early, says, no, Steph Curry, you're not going to get no shots off. I'm there to meet you every single time.
Why is TP bringing up Steph Curry?
Another pinball back. First Killer just following it. Power shot
Lord,
on your net.
I mean, this man's a sniper, bro. You got to respect. He's coming around the corner. He sees the net open. You have to hit this
First Killer
perfect.
is playing.
Because if that doesn't go right underneath the crossbar, Evo with no boost, at his level, he's going to wave that and what pad, he's going to save it. So it has to be right underneath the crossbar with power. And, of course, First Killer nets it. It's amazing.
It's the fun part about First Killer. Virtually everything he shoots is on target every single time. Same can't quite be said for Evo. However, this time is different. Both follow-ups on target. Second one in his net.
Second one indeed, and is that Evo soft pop right there. Makes First Killer have to respect it. First Killer then shifts and puts stuff honestly in an awkward position. Sideways, horizontal to the net, but with no momentum to his name to really give himself an opportunity to stop Evo's attack. And in that case, Evo sees that, spots it out, knows that he puts it on net with power, with accuracy. It's going to be really hard for First Killer to contend with. FK right off the kickoff, brings it right back down. Got a reset, didn't use it. Evo had to respect it. And FK immediately scores right off of Evo's momentum.
Yeah, Evo met him with just enough height that if he had used the flip, maybe that would have been the save, but no. First Killer recognized that he bait him out just high enough that going low was going straight in. Now 2 minutes on the clock, 2-goal lead to First Killer. Maybe make it 3 here as Evo gets a challenge. This one stays on out. No boost, just enough power to get back and get something in the tank. As you prepare for First Killer, see what he brings up next to the table.
Evo with possession, brings the ball up high, might be looking for airdrop. Buffy short range. First Killer challenges early this time around. Owed back to game number 2. FK went on the wall and he waited. This time he attacks. And it's the little adjustments that First Killer's making that's just putting him ahead of Evo right here. The same situation, basically deja vu almost, to the position that FK and Evo were in on a Forbidden Temple. First Killer waited the last time, got bumped, got demo. This time he challenged it immediately. Doesn't give Evo the time to set it up, and he ends up ultimately getting a goal for his efforts.
Yeah, not even close on this one. Evo tried to get a little creative too off the kickoff and delayed it. Still not enough. Now he has possession for now, has a split, uses it. That one does go through. Evo within 2 here on FK, but time is dwindling.
Time is dwindling, but he's got plenty of it in a 1v1 game. 119 left. All it takes is a couple kickoffs. He's gonna have to be precise with every single opportunity he gets from here on out. And I think he might have another chance. Kickoff doesn't go in his favor. First Killer just absolutely dominates him. Can FK get back to him? He doesn't. He opts not to shoot. Just wants to play possession, and I think I see why. Now Evo has to respect him. First Killer flips away from the ball, but so does Evo.
He misses.
Both players kind of playing with zero boost right now. Evo grabs 100, he's up in the sky. Spots out FK early,
Evo
goes right by.
might be able to double this. He does double it.
Miss that. 6-7 with just under a minute left. Evo throwing an edge back into this game.
There's that tiny part of you that's like, well, maybe FK should have just taken the shot at that point because the sequence of events that followed after were not pretty. Less than a minute to go. Only a 1-goal lead for First Killer off the kickoff here. Evo's going to send it off to the side. He has to race back for the boost. He knows FK is going to go for the immediate challenge. 50 in his favor. This one straight down and in.
You hate to see it. You see the intention from Evo. He wants to close that space, but he jumps off the wall so early that his car is too far away to properly get a good 50-50 against a FK who's got his whole entire car stationary on the wall. FK's gonna win that every single time. Evo is gonna have to once again try to close his 2-goal lead down to 1. First Killer, I already know he's gonna play super tight, and he is. Both players playing in the corner, FK doing what he does, mucking up the game, keeping it in, and he ultimately ends up scoring out of it. He might be the best player. When this ball is tight, when he's got you stuck in a corner like you're on the ropes, there's not much you can do.
We have seen all the series so far.
3-goal cushion.
3-1.
It's so funny because most people in that corner there, you lose a lot of possession,
First
or at
Killer
least
was
it gets
able
a
to
little
close it out in
shaky.
game 5.
But for First Killer, that's just optimal positioning. 30 seconds left on the clock. 3-goal
Chronic was
deficit
able to
to
force it in
Evo. Is going to
6,
try and close
but
this gap
was
a tiny
taken
bit with
down
some
in
time on the
game
clock.
6.
As his flip, not enough. First Killer, enough boost, enough power and height to keep this one out. Although things could shake up, Evo manages to find his way on in and secure a little bit of hope.
Great speed from Evo right there. Caught First Killer by
Lord,
surprise.
what a
FK
shot.
flipped through the boost. Had to take a wide angle. Evo spotted out. Air roll shot without the ball cam on, just to make sure he can get the angle that he needed. Kickoff goal, he's gonna need it. First Killer ultimately ends up winning it, and it's not good for. Oh, we got the back corner Barry.
Yep.
Back corner Barry. Somewhere in the world, Johnny Boy smiling. Our First Killer brings it all the way back, and now he said, "Let me do a Diaz impression." Cock bring it all the way down.
Oh.
Goal! FK goes from his goal all the way to the other one, because why not? I had nothing else to lose and everything to gain. First Killer showing off the max.
I I mean, at this point, you're really just trying to say, all right, Diaz, I hope you're watching. I'm setting the tone for what you are most likely going to be seeing. But as far as the rest of the world, this isn't quite the end, but it is one step closer to it as First Killer takes match point.
GG's by both players in the chat. FK, one game away from a meeting with Diaz. Evo, he made the necessary adjustments in game 3. Ultimately end up coming out victorious in that game, but First Killer is just being so precise and so confident in everything that he's doing right now. Evo's got to work so hard in order to stop him, and it might simply be too much. If I'm Evo, I think I'd like to see him play a little more aggressive. Now, honestly, he might need to start mucking up the game a little bit. He's gone for 2 air drill bumps so far, but they haven't been straight line. They've been off the sidewall both times. So if he can just get FK in a straight line shot, hit him a couple times, make him have to think, and that might open up his air. That might open up Evo's air game even more so, to where he might be just have a little bit more success and have a couple more goals to his name by the end of this game.
I mean, I just keep looking at Evo and I'm like, what more can you possibly do? Because it feels like with time, every adjustment Evo makes, First Killer makes 2 more to really just shut it down. Now, you got one last opportunity, and it's gonna feel like a huge challenge. You got to get 3 in a row just to get into this one. First Killer, 1 away.
Listen, you saw Nalpo do it yesterday against Verwash. You saw Chronic. He was just down 3-1. Ultimately ended up pushing to game 6, and it looked for a second like it was gonna go game 7 against Diaz. So not saying maybe being down 3-1 and with these 1v1 matches, it might not be that bad. But First Killer, he strikes first yet again. He's on a roll right now. Quick precision fake out, gets Evo to bite, comes back the other way, and then slides it back to the bottom right. Playing with his food, FK is.
Honestly, I kind of want FK
That was the
to
definition
be
of
the
playing with your
North American
food
representative, 'cause I think
and
FK
also
needs to
wasting
redeem
time
himself.
at the same moment.
Like,
20 seconds into this one, First Killer, another shot on target. This one not net. Evo just gonna have to match the pace that First Killer is setting in the beginning stages of this game 5.
Evo recovers off the ground so effortlessly. It's so funny to me. He just looks like his car is just going through something. Then he ultimately ends up catching back to it. It's amazing. Potential opportunity right here, FK. Saw that one come from a mile away. Too obvious of a setup by Evo. Quick shot, great recovery. Oh, for the young man himself. 1-1 tied up.
You see the respect too from First Killer on it. He didn't have that corner boost to his name, so Evo was going to be coming at that net with power, and he does. But kickoffs usually are where things start to get really shaky for Evo.
Wave dash kickoff from First Killer.
That is something that I noticed.
Straight away kickoff
Diaz
by
and,
Evo, and he ultimately ends up getting a demo, and that's what we wanted to see. We wanted to see more aggression, mucking up the
Diaz
game,
did
not
not
letting
lose
FK
aim.
have a
I
chance to
swear
breathe, hitting him,
Diaz, maybe
making him
I saw
uncomfortable,
lost
making him
one
jump
kickoff.
earlier than he would like. If he keeps doing that, he might have a great chance of coming back.
Definitely will. We're going to see, though, once again, off that kickoff, what does it bring? Bounce out to the side. First Killer wins it, but a shot. Still going to try and get taken, just not enough power to catch him off guard.
First Killer pop up high, and here he comes, FK. He just saw the double reset cross map last game. Goes for the bottom left reset. Evo blocks it out. Can he get back to it? Gets bumped out by FK. Great hit. Great awareness from First Killer. Survives for now. And now he has the whole entire pitch to operate with yet again. Pop up high. Looking for air drill bump against Evo. Evo tries to go for the Roas, but he's not Roas. And then he gets bumped again by First Killer. Playing around, man. Gets a nice shot from Evo, and it was a nice shot indeed.
It definitely was a very solid attempt. I just feel so bad for Evo. There's so many moments where you're like, man, if you just were a little bit more on it, you would look like you're peaking right now. Unfortunately for him, First Killer just makes him look a little silly at times. That halfway point is officially in front of him. Tied game, even playing ground. Somebody needs to take this lead to feel a little comfy, and First Killer is going to be the first to try and do it here. Takes this all the way to the other side. Going to try and get that midfield boost and play this up from the air.
Oh, man. Evo just snatches it from him. First Killer mistake. Mechanical error, honestly. The ball kind of slipped away from him right there. He definitely wanted to keep this tighter in his possession so he can get a resetting. Make Evo have to respect whatever FK wanted to bring to the table, whether that be going high or going low. But the ball just, unfortunately, escaped him right there. Evo takes advantage.
Bounce off the sidewall. First Killer has the time to go get some boost and really just formulate some sort of a plan headed into this next half. Past the line. Fakes the flick. Fakes the double flick. Evo not falling for the bait this time.
You ain't lying about that. The fake was on the way. And first killer just tried to, honestly, that would have been another
My 1v1
rendition of what he's been doing every single time with that reverse 45. Just
not
walking the
doing the
dog all
best,
the way down. Still scores for his efforts. All basically beginning off of that walking the dog effort right there. Evo, no boost. Tries to get a touch on first killer, just going his snake way, left, right, making Evo have to continuously scramble. 3-3 tied up, and this wave dash kickoff for first killer has been working very well. Has been winning possession basically 90% of the time, and he's gonna get a goal yet again. Evo, no boost. He's gonna have to switch it up.
Yeah, you're gonna have to try something different here. The amount of times that Evo's, had to commit on 0 boost, so timing's not in his favor. Boost isn't in his favor. Everything realistically at this point is going first killer's way.
Up the late kickoff right there. That's what you want to see. First killer spotted out though. But you do like this. You love to see Evo thinking about it, realizing he's losing the kickoffs, trying to make the necessary adjustments.
Nice off the ceiling, off the ground. No dunk in on it, but Evo, you thought maybe, thankfully for Evo, if you're an Evo fan, you can breathe a little bit there. First killer was off target for
Great
one,
speed.
and now you're on it and in.
First killer hit with his own medicine. Evo hitting him with just pure speed right here. Lands, wave dash, cuts it right back. FK, you know he's gonna stay around the ball. You know he's gonna play tight. Evo knows this as well. Comes in with just pure pace and gets right by him.
Now we got to see if he can keep going on it though. First killer nose up just enough to keep this one in his possession. Evo's been trying to go for the kites on this, but less than 2 minutes to go. It is going away. It is getting away from you fast. You are going to need to find something soon if you are Evo, because it's been taking almost closer to a minute now to be able to score on first killer.
You got to remember here, Evo, tournament life on the line for him. Down 3-1 FK. He's got a couple games to play with. So a lot of pressure on Evo to make something happen, but he's done well so far. 4-4, tries to get up, tries to be first killer right there. He doesn't. FK's going to win the race to the boost. Evo collects the ball. Should bring it back to his corner. Oh, he wants to go to FK's corner. Interesting decision right there. And I don't think it's going to come back. Oh, FK misses. The sniper rifle. He's offline for just this one time. Evo escapes.
The very rare off-target shot from Long. And for Evo, you got a small chance to work with here. Taking it back, 50, goes out still. First killer's in this tied game here. 1 minute left on the clock to go. He makes the cut, he makes the shot, and it's in your net.
Honestly, I didn't mind the cut. I thought it was a great, but FK just responds and recovers so fast. I think Evo didn't have the perfect land that he needed. Half second too slow in his recovery. Yep, that's what it was. They didn't let him get back to the boost in time. First killer ends up scoring with with just under a minute left. Evo down by 1. He needs to stop first killer. He needs to put one home, and he needs to be able to tie it up.
Oh, he backflips.
At least to try to give himself a chance at forcing a Neo Tokyo sighting.
Let's see what he can do. He's got no boost to his name. First killer, no contact with that ball, but he does take Evo's boost away, which is going to be enough to turn this one all the way around.
Crossbar.
The rare shots off target are what really are keeping Evo in this. He just haven't been able to find anything to realistically tie it up.
He missed the boost. He needs that boost, and now first killer's bring it back into his corner again. Bad touch from first kill. I think he wanted Evo up quick. FK there to meet him. Can Evo come off the ceiling? Oh, he's got to play with him slow.
Evo trying to get a first killer touch.
The mid boost isn't going to be there. He knows it too. He's waiting. FK's going to grab it, and he did.
First killer just has all the time in the world. He's quick. He's going to give Evo a
He's got to respect first killer right here. First killer doesn't dive in. 4 seconds left. Evo tournament life on the line. 2 seconds.
This will be
First killer
game.
drop
First
down.
killer
And he's going to
advances
move
to
on
Diaz.
to play Diaz in the North American 1v1 Grand Final. The Evo. GG's in the chat. He played well, but FK's simply on another level today.
He really and truly is. Not even just today, but this weekend entirely. There's been pretty much nearly no names that people have felt were going to put up a very solid fight against Diaz, except first killer. And for great reasoning, he has pretty much demolished everybody that has gone up against him. And now he is going to go up against Brazil. He's going to try and make this an all-American win if he can. We're going to find out next.
We are going to find out next. It was a great set from both players, and first killer has really responded, beating both players, beating Wavy and Evo, 2 players that he lost to earlier on in this tournament. And he's doing so in his own style. Aggression, power, accuracy, speed, and constantly putting you up against the ropes. First killer with a date against Diaz coming up next to find out who is going to be the NA 1v1 champion.
This just isn't working. This fish is too huge.
Let's see what the four of us can do. Oh my god!
Online multiplayer fun for up to 4.
Here you leave today and enter a world of
All the favorites.
for whatever you love, infinite worlds await.
So that way we can not watch ads.
Food
Not gonna
isn't
be
just
able to-
fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Oh, yeah. Wait. Hey, Medic, what kind of dinosaur is this?
That is a Deinonychus.
What I'm confused about, right, is dinosaur, hammer. What do those two objects have to do with anything?
Did they know we were coming?
I've been waiting for this. Come to me, Ifrit!
Boom! Looks like T-Pain is too much for y'all.
Did I hear munch?
Sounds like someone's craving his new munchie meal.
Wait, do you just appear whenever somebody says munch?
Maybe?
All right, check this out. Munch? It works! What's going on with security, though? Munch! Munch.
Yeah, I'm not coming in there. Get T-Pain's new Tater Melt Munchie Meal.
Munch!
Welcome to Jack in the Box.
Grand Canyon University, an affordable private Christian university ranked top 25 college campus in America, offers over 340 academic programs informed by industry standards and student learning outcomes. In addition to federal grants and aid, traditional campus students received approximately $180 million in scholarships in 2023, with many attending for less than the cost of a state university, and with less debt after graduation. See what scholarships you may qualify for. Find your purpose at gcu.edu/myoffer.
was all alone. And you showed up under my umbrella. Oh, shelter from the cold. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from
It was a battle, but First Killer gets it done again. And we have the age-old matchup. First Killer versus Diaz. The grand finals of the first ever 1v1 regional open for North America. Welcome back to the desk. And we are one match away from crowning a champion here, Herc. How'd you feel about Evo in that matchup there?
Oh man, I just felt bad for him. If I'm being really honest, he tried his best, but it didn't matter what adjustments he was making out there in any respective amount of time. First Killer truly was just too quick to read
Daniel
every single thing
beast
he
mode
was throwing out there.
Was in this tournament.
Yeah, Bates. I mean, First Killer
Daniel
definitely woke up today.
also a very
Won
good
2 matches. He's dropped 2 games so far. He's very much on a tear.
He's on a tear right now, and he's doing it in his own style. The style that he really brought to the 1v1 scene way back when he was 12, 11, 13. Physicality, speed, power, accuracy. That's what he's been doing. And really just frustrating every single player he's going against and taking advantage of all the small, minute mistakes. You see right there in that Gainer 1, Evo playing boost over ball. FK ultimately, of course, sees that, ends up capitalizing. Evo did respond in game number 3, though, with a big goal here and a couple other big goals as well. But First Killer is consistently put it on the pressure, constantly making little wrinkles and slight adjustments to his offensive attack. And Evo had to work so hard in order to stop this man. And if FK can bump you once and bump you again while you're in the net, there's not much you can do at that point. Tough series for him to win. FK's on, and I can't think of anybody else in this tournament who deserves to play DS for the honor of representing North America in Raleigh than FK.
And one of these players will go to Raleigh to play against Nupo. Which one will it be? We're going to find out in this match right away, folks. And remember, the season continuing on. If you're picked just now to start tuning into Rocket League, you picked a great time to become a Rocket League fan. We're right here just days away from the beginning of the Raleigh Major. Massive 3v3 in-person event, but also going to have the championship of the MENA versus North American 1v1 circuit regional battle. The winner of that will advance to play Moxie in France on French soil for the title of Rocket League 1v1 World Champion. It's going to be a crazy time, and you can be there. You can watch this 1v1. It was spectacular, and when we saw it in Birmingham with Yan versus Moxie there, you could be there for the second ever in-person 1v1 event. It's going to be a crazy one. Scan the QR code on your screen if you want to go.
If it's
I'm excited to see who's going, though. I feel like we have a story either way here with either Diaz or FK, Herc.
Oh, yeah, you definitely do. Of course, Diaz has just been on a rampage. Everybody who goes up against them looks like they almost aren't even trying, right? And then as far as First Killer goes, nobody looks like a challenge. You can tell he is playing, very, very solid peak 1v1 Rocket League. This is the First Killer in ones that everybody expected to see, and we're getting it. So now, it's like we've all said, it's like a battle of 2 giants. You couldn't have picked 2 better people that were playing better Rocket League to go head-to-head in this final.
I mean, it's crazy to think about what could have been in alternate timelines, and somewhere out there across the multiverse, Chronic scores in overtime and manages to clutch it up in Game 7, and we have an Ultimates v Ultimates grand final here. But that is not the world we live in. Diaz playing strong, playing hot. It's going to be FK, First Killer, versus Diaz for the title of North American Regional Champion for the first ever 1v1 circuit in the Rocket League Championship Series. What a title to carry that no matter what, nobody can take away from you. We are determining it right now.
That's correct. And if honestly, if it was the Ultimates Grand Final, then that means we would have had a guaranteed Ultimates, the organization winning an NA online regional. Granted, this would have been a 1v1, but they couldn't do it in 3v3. But FK does have an opportunity, and I do remember that we asked them on the NA Open 6, we asked them about how important it is to win an online regional, and he said it's greatly important. He's won so many, and he couldn't get the job done in 3s. So he has the opportunity here against Diaz. And once again, this last thing about FK is that he spoke about it yesterday to you, Wave, where he said, I want to win this. I want to represent North America. This means a lot to me. I know I took a little break from 1v1s, but I'm back and I want to get the job done. And he's been playing like he means that. And I think that really just shows how much he wants to represent NA, how much he wants to represent America. And FK, he's on fire right now.
I mean, but sometimes that emotion, that passion can stand in the way of your mechanics and your, just your hand-eye coordination seems to not follow what your brain and your heart really, really wants. Do you think that desire, him wanting it that badly, could stand in his way? I feel like we've seen that from First Killer before when it comes to, to championships.
I mean, it could potentially. It could.
I think I'm gonna then root for
Gentleman. It could, because you haven't seen him yet win a major. So that's a great point. And also, not even that too, but maybe in combination of what you're bringing up, is that he has to play Diaz, who has been so consistent, especially in the air, really threatening as many opportunities as possible on net against everybody he's playing. Chronic has to pull off some fantastic saves and stops in order to even keep that series close. But FK and Chronic, they play two different styles as well. Chronic's gonna play much more defensive, really let Diaz come at him. FK, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna play way tighter. So but in saying that though, Diaz might be the one player in this tournament who's very equipped, well-equipped even, to really deal with FK's close quarter combat, I'm gonna say, and just pop it right by him. So FK's gonna have to make those necessary adjustments.
I mean, Harky, we've watched these two players competing across 2 days now. This is the first time we're gonna watch them clash in this bracket here. Stylistically, do you feel like there's an advantage towards one player or the other?
In all honesty, it feels very equal. Like if I were to pick two people that I felt could neutralize each other, I would say these are the two to do it. I do feel like Diaz is gonna, with the way he is, come out swinging a little bit harder than FK might, and it's gonna be on FK to really adjust and kind of find some composure in the early stages of this series and really just kind of figure out what sort of a flow works. But First Killer absolutely has all the tools to, push Diaz back.
APAC versus EU.
Well, we'll see if you can get it done. Chat, let us know who you think is going to win in the fan vote. We'll make our picks on the desk. Herc, is it First Killer as first ever 1v1 regional champion, or is it Diaz?
Listen, that head-to-head has Diaz winning on paper. In the soccer world, Brazil beats NA every time. But I don't know, the passion just feels so much stronger right now. I've got First Killer.
Okay. Bates. She says the passion's gonna carry him to victory.
Yeah, that was a hard pick. I respect it. I'm gonna go with a more analysis pick, and I'm gonna say this. I do think that Diaz can hit FK with a couple counters, but I love the way FK's been power shooting and making every single defensive player have to work. I'm gonna pick First Killer here in an upset over Diaz on Champions Field, because one's very scripted, and FK's gonna be representing NA.
You said I like the script analysis. Because it's scripted and it would be a crazier story if FK were to win. Somehow that's not a heart pick here. You referenced the head-to-head. I don't think we've actually articulated how one-sided this is. In 9 times of playing, Diaz has won 7 times. First Killer's only beat him twice in the history of 1v1s here. I feel like it's gotta be Diaz on this one. Diaz gonna be the first ever North American champion. We'll see if he can get it done. First Killer though, he's been a fan favorite for a long time in RLCS. That's not gonna change today. For the title of 1v1 North American regional champion, first time ever in the RLCS. I've said it many times. I'm gonna say it a few more times before the end of today. It's a special day in Rocket League. You were here to watch it. Let's get into the games and watch the players compete for a preeminent title. We only give out the first one time. It's happening right here before your very eyes. First Killer versus Diaz for the title.
Gen G, and then NA4 will be Ultimates. Sam 1.
Rocket League fans, it's the first North American 1v1 Grand Final, and if you want to see 2 regions clash, you might not have to wait until the land. We have got North American's hero in First Killer, and we've got Diaz, who has made his way over from Brazil, but First Killer will open the scoring.
Yeah, and honestly, I wish you'd asked me who I thought was going to win before First Killer scored this. I promise
APAC,
I'm not
pretty
being
sure it's
influenced by that
Luminosity.
goal. I think he might take this one. Just looking at how Diaz struggled against Chronic earlier, looking at how dominant First Killer looks today,
okay, so
I think he might be able to do it for North America here. Will the invasion, Diaz, coming over from Sam, trying to take his spots away, be able to stand up to
FK goes up 2-0 quick.
Diaz has slowly been playing against leveled up Americans here in this tournament. He's able to take
Mina
down
is
Wavy
Falcons,
to get into the
and
semifinal. Then he
Twisted
gets Chronic.
Minds.
The next hardest level will now.
OCE
Can you
wild
pass
card.
the GOAT of North American 1v1s? You're going to have to do it if you want to punch a ticket to Raleigh.
And Diaz, in his semi-final match against Chronic, looked like he was second-guessing himself ever so slightly with his aerial game. If he's second-guessing himself against Chronic, I think he's going to be very much guessing himself against First Killer, who's playing some unbelievable Rocket League right now. And he's slicing and dicing everybody. Here he comes trying to get Diaz as well, added to the list of players who've fallen for that left, no, just kidding, going right move he keeps pulling out, whether it's a shot or a flick. I mean, he's just got such
if we do the
quick
1
directional
versus
changes.
16,
First Killer is going to want to play this game fast.
It would
it's
be
been clear. That's what he likes to do. He likes to move the ball. He likes to move quickly. He likes to beat you with speed. Diaz is going to flick over the top to get his first goal. He likes to beat you controlled. And you might hear that and think, oh, he must be one of those ground dribblers. No, he likes to beat you controlled from the skies most often and just get reads on you defensively. It'll be interesting to see as this series goes on. In the first couple minutes, they've been playing First Killer's pace, but Diaz on the board, maybe he can start to slow things down a little.
I can see that you've chosen Diaz
versus
to win
Secret.
this one. You reckon that?
So if that was the
not
case,
that
they'd
it's a
probably
script or
switch it
anything for
around,
anyone who's just
and
panicked
I
right there.
guess with
But
that,
you've
they'd be playing Ultimates.
picked Diaz as the guy you think you're going to win it. Why do you think he's going to be able to pull off his plays? Is it stuff like this, perhaps? The double resets? What do you think it's going to be for Diaz? It'll give him the edge in the final.
Diaz has looked like he's been in free play at times against everybody else in ones. One of the biggest reasons is he's been down to play. Now, First Killer, he's had times ever since he became the best in 1v1 that he maybe took a slight break and focused on threes. Ever since Diaz has come to the top of NA1s, he has been non-stop grinding. He has been ready to play. He has been trying to get as much practice as possible to set him up for this position. Sure, there's never been an RCS 1v1 before, but if Diaz was going to prepare for it, he did the right thing. And now he's got the biggest test, one that he's been waiting for. He's been so calm too as well. When he's been in control of games, it doesn't seem like he's panicking too much, which means maybe he'll be able to play from behind and try and shrug off deficits. Right now, he's in one. And Diaz is in his own back corner. First Killer's going to have to leave.
Realized we can check
Diaz
based off of
into a ball carry that he will pop up into an air dribble. First Killer goes back down to the ground. He's not going to get away with that. Diaz will lob it in.
Based off
it is going to be the physical play from Diaz. It ties the game. First Killer using that jump to get back down again. But no recovery could come through. Diaz just tipped him on the landing. And it was going to be tough to get back up in the air that quickly anyway. 2-2. Diaz not getting goals yet with his signature plays. It's been kickoff goal, air dribble bump, and a flick. You know, it's more standard stuff out of him, but we forget sometimes that he's got all of that in his back pocket as well.
You cannot get to this highest level without being able to do everything.
The NRG versus TSM.
You know, a lot of people like to complain about certain players' kickoffs. You can't just win off kickoffs. You can't just win off your air dribbles. You can't just win off of any one thing. If you want to be the best and make it to this land, you have to be well-rounded. And usually you have something that is your absolute best move. That is Diaz through the air. First Killer's pre-jump in early. I think we didn't see that from him. We saw him go down to the ground in the first air dribble, but Chronic was flying through the air and intercepted him like crazy off the demo here. Diaz is going to get a goal.
That's a really smart play by Diaz. He knew that First Killer was going to stop that air dribble, so he just made sure that he got back to the ground first, because then he can demo First Killer when First Killer lands. That leaves the net open. First Killer foolishly spawned at the wrong side of the box, so he couldn't get the save, at least not in time, but nice play by Diaz nonetheless.
NA4 Sam 2.
Kick up win to the side wall.
Is correct.
Launched in, one out. First Killer. Great pre-jump save. Wants a demo, didn't get it.
So it would be, if we're going based off
the top shelf, is there a counterattack available? Diaz sees it coming, so he retreats and uses his boost to get the catch. Can he prevent a possession from First Killer? It's going to cost him all his boost to clear it away, but he is going to try and chase it down. Now he'll back off. First Killer with space. What can he do through the air? It's not an awkward, or it's not an easy setup. It's an awkward one. He cannot get anything going, and Diaz will challenge to take it away.
Oh, what save First Killer? Just barely gets back in time to keep this at a 2-goal deficit. on the previous
And then
play, his ceiling
twisted
shot setup or
mind
his wall shot
versus
setup was just a bit
gentle
too high. I
mates.
think he maybe got a
But
bit ahead
if
of
we do the
himself, hit the ball
stupid
too
one
hard.
of one,
You're not going to see Diaz make that mistake too often. He's so delicate. He's got such a soft touch with his setups to his air dribbles. Always able to find that
it would
pixel
be
before the ceiling
K-Corp
bounce.
versus
Now he's starting to work into
Gentlemate.
space. Not much between these guys. But Diaz
NRG.
finds it top
5-2.
corner. That's the best
This
goal
is
we've
what,
seen from him
5-3?
so far.
Yeah, this is a good
First
sign for
killer.
him going forward as he gets the reset, rolls
Good
through,
reset.
and the placement and
Top
power here.
left,
First
dangerous.
killer, the kind of defender to make reactions as
NRG
fast
versus
as lightning,
Gen
but
G.
not going to be able to stop
So already
a play like that
trash
as
matchups.
Diaz building a bit of
Udia
separation here. After I think it's
versus
5 straight,
Secret.
right?
Or no.
Since I believe first killer went up
Versus
2-0.
9-10
Yeah, Diaz
versus
has really
Pro.
gotten his momentum going. He's starting to play his game.
SSG.
And so far, he has not been discouraged from his aerial gameplay like
Versus
Chronic was able to do to him earlier. But first killer, with a minute left to go.
wild card.
Speed as he dashes up the side
That
wall.
is
He
definitely
long
an
shots
upset
it. It's just
happening.
barely off target. Close
Dig
to getting a quick goal.
versus
Diaz going to try and
Ultimates.
counter-attack
That's a
now.
good
He doesn't
matchup.
need to go all in at any point here. First killer's the guy who needs to take all the
Falcons
risks. Diaz is just making sure to get 50-50s when required. Well, you know, first killer came out with some
Secret.
violent movement. Rapid
Vitality
movement around the field.
versus
That maybe
TSM.
caught Diaz by
and then
surprise.
Twisted
But he's
Mind
adjusted and Diaz can
versus
go
Fuck.
as fast as required. He
I don't know
can
which
keep
one
up
I'd
with
rather
anyone.
have.
And that might be the test in
I think it would
rally
be more fair if we did
against
the
the guy who
1 to
averages the fastest speed out of any player at RLCS Lancia 10s. But Diaz takes game 1 and he does it with a 6-goal run. Now, how will first killer respond to this? It was looking pretty good for him until about halfway through.
Yeah, Diaz has found his stride. He's found his free play. And we're going to need to see first killer scare him in some way. You know, you could tell that Diaz was starting to search. A nice little mix-up on the kickoff when it's already too late. But at least we know we're going to see these on occasion. Nice to say. I mean, all this doesn't matter, but still pretty good movement for first killer. That would have been a goal. Diaz hits it to the ground. But Diaz is unafraid. And he so far doesn't feel like, you know, he has to worry in his aerial game. First killer hasn't been pre-jumping and playing as high as Chronic did. He's been trying to react
so
just
we
a little
have
bit more.
Kick
And
over to
Diaz
Animation,
also
kick over
seems to
versus
have
Putt, NRG
risen up
versus
just a
Gen.
slight
So,
level
like,
on those
2
finishes through the air.
It's very interesting to see the difference. It's a
2
similar
versus
look to game 1 against Chronic, but at the same time very different. The pace here was outrageous. First killer came out all
yeah,
guns
there's
blazing.
2
He just tried
per
to
thing.
catch
There's
Diaz
2
out of position
in region
by being the faster of the 2
matches
players.
against each other.
Diaz showed that not only can he match first killer's speed, he can go even faster. He just took 19 shots to 6. And if you hear us talk about why is the shot total so important, well, it's important in 3v3, but in 1v1 it very often just tells you who is in charge of the game. You know, the player who's taking more shots usually has more possession, usually has better territory, more boost, more of everything. And it's not up to
going,
a player like
I don't
first
know
killer
how they do it.
to
Like, I do,
you know,
but I
try
don't.
to
more of a
to get
Lolo
more
thing.
shots necessarily, but he does need to get control of this match. Diaz is starting to take over.
Best place to get control is immediately off a kickoff, and we will start at a diagonal, but it'll be Diaz who gets everything he could have ever wanted. He gets boosted in ball. He's going to slam an immediate shot, force first killer into net, and put him back in the spin cycle here as he goes to ceiling height for a reset. Has the flip, fakes it, goes low, and is on the board.
And he's just cashing in on that investment from the last game. I mean, when you've got a reset top corner the previous game, the opponent has to respect it. And now he goes low with the wave dash to put it underneath first killer's pre-jump.
First killer needs first possessions. Otherwise, going to have a tough time, and he's earned one here. He might even be able to put it directly on target. That'll do.
Yeah.
Diaz is a
Okay,
little bit
FK
more
is 2
fancy,
goals
but
off
this one's
kickoff.
worth just as much.
And then he could not get
An
it.
important goal for first killer, not just to tie the game, but just to remind everybody that he can actually do something in the kickoffs here. That's, like you said at the start of the game, the best way to take control of a 1v1 match. And he's got another one here. This one's not going to be a direct shot into the goal, but it's the next best thing. He's got 100 boost, he's got possession, and he's got a chance to make something of it. Doesn't get an opening. Well played by Diaz to turn this one around.
Oh my goodness, Diaz. I can't believe he almost scored that. I did not think there was an opportunity to shoot, and he gets the perfect doink towards the net. Now into the
That
skies.
was so cheeky. I can't believe that he found a shooting angle there.
Diaz now backing away. First killer has to just pinch it and give Diaz control. Diaz into the skies. First killer jumps. Diaz tries to back off, and he does instantly start using that boost to push himself back. He's thinking recovery early on in that dribble.
Here comes another big aerial play. Diaz going to the ceiling with this one. Can he recover? Can First Killer recover? Yes, he can. One play by First Killer to actually go back after fully committing and get a clear. Now Diaz with the 50-50 with the reset at the same time and the dunk to go up 2-1.
It is such a good way to go for 50s in general. I think you get a bonus in that those wheels can often just glue the ball to the space that they're in. But on top of that, you get a reset, and that makes your wave dash recovery just a little bit faster than the other player. It's a double-edged sword. That's not the same, but doesn't matter. You get what I'm trying to say. As Diaz now up 2-1. On First Killer's going to catch him out. Diaz thought he was in a good spot. It's a pull shot save, and now Diaz is looking at an open net.
It's going to be too easy for him. First Killer really took a big risk there, and he got punished for it. And he had no boost left whatsoever, so, I mean, you can't get a lot more all-in than that. This is a really important moment in the match. Right here is where this game can go one of two ways. First Killer can start to stabilize and start to come back, or Diaz can run away with it like he did in game one. Oh, it looks like it's going to be First Killer here. That's massive. He needs to stay in touch here. He can't let this go past 2 goals, or his confidence is going to be taking a big hit.
Diaz just must have expected First Killer to back off on the ball. He gets up quicker than Diaz, and Diaz on low boost floats down to the ground while First Killer counterattacks. Now First Killer is taking Diaz over the orange half. High lob. Diaz makes the save, but he falls awkwardly on the crossbar, so he is not going to have a lot of boost to deal with. First Killer just booms the ball right away, and now we'll go get a steal. Can he keep Diaz pinned back? He's going to push it out to the midfield. Nice recovery pre-flip from Diaz, and he might have ended it right there.
Yeah, smart play by Diaz. He baited a shot. It wasn't the right shot to go for. That's a good save by First Killer on Diaz. Far post shot attempt. Still 1 goal in it. First Killer with the bounce dribble. He's got the flick over him to tie the game. And it's all about the timing here. The burst of pace catches Diaz off guard.
Diaz trying to set up his shadow, kind of snaking around, deciding which angle he wants to make a challenge in. It all happens too late. First Killer ties this one up. He's kept himself in this. Diaz into his own back wall. Just going to switch sides of the field. Yes, First Killer directly underneath him, trying to get a demo. First Killer is likely going to have to back off here at some point, and now he does. Goes for a shadow as Diaz underneath the ball, quicker to the ground, and will try and use the recovery to keep attacks going. That's what he is really fond of doing. He doesn't need to score on the first time. At 50, can he find a way to score this? First Killer on his way back will get 100. It's a reset from Diaz. He missed this, and First Killer will take control.
Well, sometimes those work out. The accidental misses can turn into goals. First Killer looking for the bump, but Diaz, who flies off the inside of his own post to make the save. He had to fight through contact there. And now he's going to need to survive on low boost, but First Killer's forced to back off. Didn't have the direction on the play to make the boost advantage work.
Diaz sticking around to make sure First Killer goes for the air dribble.
He
wants to try and hold him on the goal line. By staying close, he does manage to get back and make the recovery. Now these two vying for control. Diaz, on boost, should be able to switch the field. First Killer going to try and pinch away. Diaz gets to the pinch first as a counter. Now trying to take a power shot. Can he get to the net in time? No, First Killer still recovers.
Still recovers?
I mean, it's just crazy. The smallest opening in one of these matches, and the ball is absolutely flying on target.
Because they do things that I can't.
Another retreat from First Killer, just letting Diaz come towards him. Boost is stolen. Diaz on the turn, looking for the opening, looking for the demo and the exit as well, but he sets up First Killer more than anything with that touch. Here comes First Killer in the air, reset by him. It's easily saved by Diaz. Now how's the bounce? It's not the fastest, but it's good enough for Diaz to make a play with. He's going to bail out of that reset attempt again. First Killer matching Diaz excellently here. We're end to end with flip resets being traded.
Oh, that's a bad
look from Diaz here. He stares down at First Killer to get an idea. Reads, am I going to beat into this ball? I think I am. Races and gets there clean early. No touch from First Killer. Puts it on target. In the final minute, Diaz is going to be playing from in front.
And that was one of the first big reactions we've seen out of First Killer in a while. I think we saw maybe one of his eyebrows move in his entire semi-final match against Evo. About half a centimeter, but He looked a bit confused on that play. Probably wondering, how am I supposed to get this guy out of position? He just seems to have endless boost, endless momentum. And this is what most of the players feel like when they play against First Killer. But now, that's how he feels on the pitch.
Diaz with a rare take straight down the center of the field. Normally he's very willing to switch, and it's actually going to pay off. He undercuts First Killer in the back corner, and he's got a 2-goal lead.
And there again, First Killer just shaking his head ever so slightly. He's just thinking, how am I supposed to beat this guy when he's beaten me in my own game? I mean, this is usually the type of game that works well for First Killer. When the ball's moving quickly around the pitch, he can flex the speed, flex the mechanics, but every now and then somebody comes along who can challenge him in this game mode that he created back in the day. He made this meta in NA1s where everybody's moving at supersonic all the time. But Diaz is the one who's thriving in it.
This is a great backflip. First Killer coming to challenge. It does the same thing again where he gets his wheels on the ball, creates a big wall as well as moving himself back in preparation for the follow-up. Diaz securing this game. Now, we have seen in 3v3, this is a no-brainer timeout. I feel like almost every team is calling timeout after these couple of games, but everybody has been playing it differently. Do you think First Killer feels like he needs a break or what?
I think he might. I think if he's really thinking about it, he should take one. Even if it's just to psych out Diaz. Diaz is on one right now. If we thought there was going to be any nerves in the grand final after a bit of a shaky semi-final performance against Chronic, at times it wasn't shaky throughout, but in certain moments it was. I mean, we've seen none of that. He's just been completely locked in. I mean, to go toe-to-toe with First Killer in a back-and-forth match where the ball is just doing laps around the pitch. Both players are being tested constantly, and to come out on top, it just shows the level that Diaz is at. By the way, First Killer, no timeout. He's just going to go next, and I'm not sure I agree with that. We'll see if it works out for him later on. Having that timeout might prove to be valuable if he can get this series back into an equal situation without one.
First Killer has not been looking
It's all about that. I mean, is he even going to get there with the way Diaz is playing?
Yeah, this is just a little bit different than these guys are used to playing. First Killer, you know, we talked about him being the king of 1v1. I think he did that by playing tournaments exclusively where there were no timeouts. I'm not sure he's ever had the choice of taking a timeout. So to him, maybe he's not thinking about it much at all. You know, doesn't have anybody in his ear saying he needs a break. He just wants to go next. It's what he's always done, and he'll head into a diagonal kickoff here, game number 3.
This is a must-win for First Killer. This is a game where he needs to stop Diaz from dictating where the match is being played. Diaz has outshot him twice in a row, and he's outshooting him here as well. He continues to create enough pressure to cause one of the best players in the world to crumble. Diaz again in front.
And another first possession in his favor. I'd have to imagine with the way he's shooting, he's probably got the edge in kickoffs. Seems like it's more often than not Diaz in control, playing at First Killer's net. He tried to grab that boost, and now taking it down the other way. Did pick up the boost. Flick gets sent into the back wall. First Killer on the curve dash decides not to use that speed. Instead now waiting out for the right time to take this ball away. Diaz wanted to maybe catch a demo. First Killer trying to buy himself a bit of time, but it's going to be Diaz with space. He's going to switch the field. This is what he loves to do. He takes his sweet time, says, I'm going to go get my clean setup, the one that I really love. He's trying to read First Killer out of the air, but First Killer actually comes off the ceiling and makes the save.
Oh, it's not too long ago, First Killer missed a mid boost, and it's given Diaz full control. Just one small mistake, and now you're defending against Diaz for as long as he wants. He just keeps attacking, and that's just tilt there from First Killer. I mean, he's going absolutely nowhere with that one. He's just hit the near post wall like he's playing 2v2 or 3v3. I mean, maybe he could double that on target, but even that's pretty speculative in my opinion. Got to think right now, he's just sick of playing defense simulator against Diaz.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. When you don't get to touch the ball as often, you never get to control it. Sometimes you just want to slam it. It's been a while since you've had the chance to touch it, and this time First Killer slams it against the back wall. He's going to have a chance as he sets up. Ooh, Diaz trying to chase him down. First Killer does get the 100. So Diaz, no demo or boost. A little ground pinch to actually reset the field as he's going to go side wall. Diaz late up the back wall. First Killer has to get a reset after bounce off the ceiling, and he'll pinch it down to Diaz.
Yeah, not many options there for First Killer. Tries for the pinch across the goal. Diaz is going past him again. First Killer can't get close. This is an absolute masterclass by the guy who's been dominating NA1s. He's been dominating Sam ones for a bit before he came up to North America as well. He's unquestionably one of the best in the world at the moment. And the Grand Final, Championship Sunday, has not proven to be a difficulty for him like it has in 3v3 alongside his teammates on Complexity.
3-0. He said first killer needed a big one here. Decided no timeouts. It's gone as poorly as possible, but it's a long game. 3 minutes. First killer gets around Diaz, and that can be the start of a possession that he can turn into a goal, and that'll be just that.
Oh, just like that, first killer gets one. It looked a bit awkward for a second, but that touch there middle is not what Diaz was expecting. He also didn't expect first killer to just go for this, so great moves by first killer, catching Diaz by surprise. And now he needs to make something off of this. He has to build on that goal. He can bump Diaz here and get an open net for himself. He looks like he's trying to do just that, but Diaz recovers beautifully. I mean, you just can't get this guy off the ball.
Yeah, the perfect dash off the bump, and then the pre-flip to control it. This time, no dash is going to save him. No boost left over. He cannot use it to push himself back down. So when you get launched in the air on 0, you're going to have a tough time making a play. First killer still had boost to work with, and he will eventually get his goal.
And that was the first big mistake we've seen out of Diaz. Even with no boost, you'd expect him to be able to flick that clear. He rushed it, just flipped underneath the ball, gave it away to first killer. He's right back in control. Shoots first time. He's trying to look for first killer free jumping high there. Even though it's not worked, that's a pretty good investment by Diaz. Oh, first killer's caught him. That's going to be a tie game. Demo by first killer. As Diaz plays his fire a bit too dangerously there. Turned right into it.
Yeah, he had boost as well. If he expected the demo to be coming, he could have used it to push himself away, but he even landed and turned back in towards the net. First killer had that read on a day where it's been pretty tough to demo players on occasion. Now, tie game. First killer to the back wall, has to go in and out of the net. Diaz is just waiting for his time, and he finds it to take it away.
That's just so smart by Diaz. So many fake challenges, so many fake 50s. Even there as he's turning, making first killer think that he's going to commit, going one way. Almost like a step over as he goes infield past him. But this is all from the kickoff. Diaz turns kickoff pressure into goals on a completely different level than anyone else in this tournament. First killer not able to survive. It just feels like we're going through one of two options. Either Diaz dribbles the ball around for a minute, or he just scores after a quick exchange. Here's the extended exchange. Diaz with the, again, that flip reset 50. First killer stands strong in front of that one, but he's half boost now. Diaz has an advantage.
Yeah, Diaz, he can extend these possessions forever. I've been paying attention to it. This possession started off the kickoff. This is the first possession I would say that Diaz has had. First killer has yet to take it away from him. He's continuing to have to make save after save. Sure, first killer's getting touches like this one to push the ball out of his half, but really it's Diaz who's dictating everything that's happening, and he will continue to attack. This is all one possession off the kickoff. First killer makes a nice save, but he gets bumped out, and Diaz gets the goal.
And to go all the way from a kickoff where you just lose it slightly, play defense for about 45 seconds and then get bumped to concede. I mean, it's just so annoying to play against, but Diaz is playing it perfectly. He's not giving first killer any openings. And he's re-establishing the lead. Can first killer respond?
Diaz is immediately on this ball as well, even in a situation where he doesn't get boost advantage. It seems like he's earned the first possession. First killer maybe had a chance at possession, but he lobs it away. Diaz has control. You cannot give Diaz more freebies.
Wow. I mean, first killer didn't get power on that clear. He probably knew that he was in trouble as soon as he touched that ball. Diaz, with perfect execution, punishes him again. We're back up to a 3-goal difference. It's about to be a 3-game difference. And this is looking like maybe the first once grand final in RLCS that won't go to game 7.
This is the toughest test for the script. First killer, nice save. He wants to keep it alive because he gets it across the nets. Even Diaz is going to drop a what a save in the chat on his way back. He's impressed with first killer, and a minute left to go. It is 2 goals. It is very, very doable, but it just feels like the momentum is still in Diaz's favor.
It really does. This is close enough, despite the fact that first killer's been playing so much defense. He won't feel like he's had a lot of control over where or when this match is being played. He's still in this one. But Diaz taking the ball to the back corner. It's about that time again. Final minute, back corner. Barry wakes up. And we might get a little bit of front court action before heading back to the corner again. Diaz could do it right here. And this is
corner.
not restorating to go up against. The time is being wasted. First killer's coming in for a demo attempt. He misses. It was a good try though.
And this is barely even different. That's the thing. Diaz is prepared for these situations because this is just how he likes to play. First killer, what a pre-jump. He probably needed to try and just redirect that.
Back corner Barry, yep. And back corner Barry secures the game. Why risk another attack that might be countered when you can simply put the ball in your back corner and win 100% of the time? I mean, Diaz is just, he's a machine. He's outshot First Killer. He's out-pressured him. He's completely controlled the match, start to finish. And First Killer does not have an answer. He's just got it right now. Just try to keep playing as close to perfect as he can. He now calls his timeout, of course. If he can maybe continue to play at this level, the one hope he's got is that Diaz gets nervous on match point. We've seen Moxie do it. We've seen Roas do it the other day. Maybe this is finally the moment where Diaz will be nervous.
Yeah, we haven't really seen it. I mean, we saw him come out against Chronic, dominated in the first game, and then ever since then, Chronic seemed to put a little bit of fear in the eyes of Diaz, and not actually in his player cam, but in the way that his car moved around the field. I haven't seen that yet. I feel like he's still chilling here against First Killer, and for good reason. First Killer is going to call timeout when he has absolutely no lives left. He has remembered that he has it. We've seen people, talking to themselves or thinking or, rubbing their face. First Killer, he's just sitting. I wonder, what is he thinking he needs to do here?
First Killer's been in these positions many times, and unfortunately for him, he's, well, when it comes to online, he's very used to winning. But when it comes to the LANs, when it comes to majors, he's always on the wrong side of the trophy. He's on the on this side looking up at the other team who are lifting it into the air. And this is obviously an online tournament, but it is the first ever RLCS 1v1 event for North America. First Killer is the greatest ones player North America has ever produced. He's one of the best of all time. We keep saying greatest NA. He's one of the greatest just in general. But Diaz, he is the new generation. He is playing, just a style of Rocket League that is wonderful to watch. If you're a fan of Rocket League, if you're a fan of ones, you're gonna like watching this guy play because he is just pure mechanics. He's an artist on the pitch. But will he be the one to represent the Americas in Rally against Middle East? Will he be the one to represent the whole of South America, North America combined in France against Moxie? Maybe Diaz can unite the Americas.
Finally,
North and South.
I was like,
I would hope so. We would be ready to cheer on
Dark, who just plays at a million miles an hour.
He has been such a fun player to watch, and this is his chance to guarantee he shows up at LAN. There is still that last chance qualifier for Complexity. He can make it with his threes team. First Killer will be there either way. Diaz has an opportunity to make sure he gets to play in front of the crowd. He's got one more win to do it.
And first kickoff goes his way. This is where First Killer's had to play pretty much the whole series.
There's a good fake.
And he does
what a
really well actually to post pitch that one out. And now looking for the demo. First Killer chases Diaz away from the play and wrestles back control.
Yeah, Diaz gonna back off. First Killer has a possession. He's just gonna try and roll the room, and it works. We saw this not working for Diaz against Chronic, but First Killer is gonna find a goal.
That is a huge last touch on the ball there by First Killer. Air rolling into it for that extra bit of power. Maybe a mistake by Diaz. He's trying to intercept that pretty far away from his goal line. I mean, that's obviously an incredible, it's an insane shot by First Killer, but it is always easier to save those. You're trying to make an interception, the closer you are to your goal line.
He is close to his goal line right now as he makes a low 50 save, trying to escape the corner. First Killer is going to take it away, looking to try and get a quick play going. Now it's Diaz back the other way. He's got First Killer rotating back to net. A tough shot. That's actually going to be a counterattack. You need to be better than that if you want to get away with it against First Killer.
That's a mistake. Diaz wanted the tie game. He rushed it. And this is exactly what First Killer needs. He just needs Diaz to drop off a little bit. I mean, it looks like Diaz is in full control. It looks like he's just far too good for first killer today. But the reality is that if Diaz drops off by 10%, first killer is right there with him. He's so close. And Diaz is not going to drop off yet because he's just peeked on him off his own back corner. He air dribbles at full length of the pitch, as he always does. And look at the placement with the finish.
It is so tough. When he has that air dribble on target towards the right side of the net, if he does decide to fake it, it is going to go all the way to the right side. But he gets so much movement on his flip reset that he sends it all the way back to the other post. You have to defend the entirety of the net on a dribble that started all the way in his back corner. It can be that tough to defend against him. Diaz going to get a demo here. Can he get back around the ball and shoot it? He should be able to. First killer not spawning anywhere close, and we're already back to tie.
Oh, that is just heartbreaking for first killer. He thinks he can turn and make a play, but there's always another trick with Diaz. Even if he's got possession.
Bruh, where's my stream lagging?
And a boost advantage. Diaz still Supersonic, still dangerous. First killer backs him up again. Once again. As he just toe pokes the ball home.
A very brief moment that he spent playing on defense. We were playing over here in the orange half, something that we don't see very often because of what you just said. Diaz, even when he doesn't get first possession off kickoff, seems to be one of the best, stealing it away, forcing you to play the game he wants to play. And he's going to win this new half. Going to force a save at a first kill. Wow. It's not going to happen. It'll go top right.
A shot.
What a dodge out Diaz. First killer tried to clap him back into the corner, but Diaz with a quick reverse. Not only dodges the bump, but also sets himself up for the top corner finish. 4 goals unanswered. Diaz is speed running the grand final. He seems like he's just about finished putting in his details on the booking for the trip to rally. His first killer forced to make another heroic last-ditch save.
And gets a demo, and that's key because Diaz can keep you locked back there forever, but the demo will allow first killer to play a bit of offense. He thinks he's going to catch Diaz moving out upfield, maybe booming over the top of him, but Diaz recognizes that, recovers, makes the save. And now we're back to Diaz on offense sequence. It's one we see before, and back corner barrier is here halfway through as Diaz goes to his own back wall. First killer, I can't see on his POV, probably because he's underneath him as Diaz goes stealing height, has a reset, flips back to the ball, no touch, and first killer makes the save.
Come on,
for once, Diaz does not make contact at the end of his patented sequence, where he dodges, gets one extra touch, and then the flip reset. If you're trying to air dribble like Diaz, that's how he does it. Doesn't make it easy, but he's making this look easy. 5-2. Diaz with a simple flick follows through to pit maneuver first killer, who looks just lost in the pitch right now and completely out of ideas.
Diaz is making so many plays happen on zero boost. It doesn't seem like a big boost disadvantage seems to affect him at all. He knows how and when to use his flips to make something happen. As this kickoff is going to go to his back wall, and he is going to play off the stealing. His ability to turn everything into a perfect air dribble flip underneath this one. He's got it! It's perfection from Diaz.
Everywhere on the pitch, it doesn't matter where he is, he can set an attack up. From any wall, from anywhere. You're never safe when you're up against Diaz. 6-2, 6 goals unanswered. Diaz looks like he's going to be NA's representative in rally. He's going to be waving the Brazilian flag, and maybe if he wants to farm some more fans, he'll bring a USA flag as well.
First killer gets one. Diaz tried to walk it in on a fake flick. It gets dunked over the top. First killer was throwing his camera around on that kickoff. He's feeling the frustration, but not so much that he lets in an easy goal. He's ready to go again here with tons of time. Again, it's the context really so far of how the series has been going that makes it feel like Diaz has already locked it in. This is definitely a retrievable deficit as first killer passed to himself off the back wall. He's going to reset his own. Diaz makes the save into the crossbar and should have the counter.
What a save by Diaz. Haven't had to watch him play much defense in this grand final. But when he does, he's world class at that end of the pitch also. He's attempted to unite the regions. How do you beat the French with lots of allies? Can Brazil and North America combine? Diaz has been on the grind when he came over, he was not the best in North America. He was good, but he wasn't the best.
Ooh, I just
but after a year of playing against players like Wavy, First Killer, Daniel, Chronic, AJ, the list goes on. He now looks unstoppable. And he's showing the world what he's all about. The deftest of touches leaves First Killer completely out of ideas and out of the game. GG's, congratulations, says First Killer. And I think it makes sense that we go out with Diaz hitting a full pitch air dribble.
Diaz has done it. I can't believe it. It's domination. He breaks the cycle of game 7s in all of these grand finals, and he does it in spectacular fashion.
Wow.
Diaz is dominant. There was going to need to be a good answer to fight against the likes of Nupo and or Moxie if he's able to get through Nupo, and Diaz is definitely it if anybody is.
Yeah, that's, you know, if you are really, if you're a First Killer fan, if you're a USA, North America Rocket League fan, you're really pulling for First Killer here. You know, that's got to be the silver lining, surely, is that just look at what Diaz is doing on the pitch. If somebody's going to challenge the MENA and EU 1 scenes, I reckon it's got to be this guy. If you're going to like pick the #1 guy for the past year in NA1s, it's Diaz. He's been on top, and to see him do it under all this pressure, after such a disappointing split in 3v3, not even winning a single series in Champ Sunday, now he's won 2 of them, and he's going to rally to represent NA in 1s.
Yeah, if you haven't been following 1s, now you understand the hype behind Diaz and why everyone was so excited to see him with Complexity. I think he still has a long 3s career ahead of him. He hasn't been able to match the same kind of dominance that he has in 1s, but truly it's a spectacle to behold when you get to watch some Diaz games, and it'll be exciting. It's the high ping Masters. Diaz has been playing USCs. He's been queuing on 90-ish ping, and Nupo's been doing the same thing. You know, he has to queue into EU, so these guys who have high ping, they can deal with it in 1v1. They're going to get a chance to finally play on absolutely no ping at all on LAN.
Yeah, it might be a bit jarring for them. They'll be confused as to why the ball just does what they think it's going to do, but massive congrats to Diaz. I mean, he did it his way as well. He didn't have to, you know, reduce the full air, the creativity to try and eliminate unforced errors. He just played perfectly, and, you know, First Killer is still the North American greatest 1s player of all time. Amazing that he's been able to stay at the top for this long as well. I'm sure this isn't the last we're going to see from him, but today Diaz is too good, and I think it's thoroughly deserved. Can't wait to see him play in Rally.
Yeah, we are set up for maybe one of the most mechanical, exciting 1v1 LAN games ever played.
Oh yeah.
We've only had one other one played. This one is set up to be spectacular. Diaz, can he keep a cool head and pop off, or will it be Nupo, who plays with speed like First Killer but with similar mechanics? We'll have to find out. For now, let's hear from the desk what they thought about that series.
Well, that was fun.
How about it? Diaz is the inaugural champion of the RLCS 1v1 NA regional.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it for this stream. If Xander gets on and we play any interesting games, we'll turn the stream back on then. But for now, I'm done.